Joao Fonseca arrived in Madrid carrying momentum, rising expectations, and the label of one of tennis' most exciting young stars. But instead of another breakthrough moment, the Brazilian left the court after a painful defeat, a destroyed racket, and a performance that exposed both his brilliance and his biggest weakness. This was supposed to be a routine next step for Fonseca. Ranked among the top young names on tour and seated inside the event, many expected him to handle business against teenage Spaniard Rafael Jodar. But tennis rarely follows the script, especially when emotions begin to take over. From the first few games, it was clear this would not be easy. Joda looked fearless in front of his home crowd. He played with energy, confidence, and the freedom of a player with nothing to lose. Fonseca, meanwhile, showed flashes of the explosive power that has made fans believe he can become a future star. But he also looked tense. The rallies were intense, the atmosphere loud, and every point seemed to carry extra weight. Fonseca had opportunities in the opening set, but he could never fully separate himself. Joda kept matching him shot for shot, forcing the set into a tiebreak. That was the first big test of the day. In those moments, calmness matters more than talent. Joda stayed composed, trusted his game, and edged the breaker to steal the first set. Suddenly, the pressure shifted completely onto Fonseca. To his credit, the Brazilian responded well in the second set. He came out with more urgency, hitting with greater depth and stepping into the court whenever he had the chance. His forehand began to find targets, and he started controlling more rallies. This looked like the version of Fonseca fans were waiting for. He took the second set 6-4 and forced a decider. At that stage, many expected experience and firepower to carry him through. Instead, the match produced one of the most dramatic moments of the tournament. Early in the third set, Fonseca found himself under pressure on serve. He needed a steady hold to settle the momentum. But after missing a routine forehand long, frustration boiled over instantly. In front of the crowd, he slammed his racket into the clay again and again, smashing it in a full emotional outburst. The moment spread quickly across social media because it was impossible to ignore. This was not just a player annoyed at one missed shot. It was the release of tension that had been building all match. Every missed chance, every tough rally, every bit of pressure seemed to come out in those few seconds. And once it happened, the match changed. Fonseca never looked fully locked in again. His body language dropped, his focus disappeared, and the energy that helped him win the second set was gone. Joda recognized it immediately. The Spanish teenager played bold, aggressive tennis and surged through the final set 6-1. That scoreline says everything. Once Fonseca lost emotional control, he also lost control of the match. The numbers show this contest was competitive overall. Both players produced winners, but both also made mistakes. Fonseca had moments of high-level shot-making, yet the errors came at the worst times. Joda, by contrast, was sharper on the biggest points and stronger mentally when the pressure peaked. That is often what separates winners from losers on the ATP Tour. Not just talent, not just power, but decision-making and composure in key moments. For Rafael Jodar, this was a huge statement win. Taking down a seeded player and one of the most talked about young names in the game is the kind of result that can transform a career. Doing it at home makes it even sweeter. He looked mature beyond his age. The crowd support could have created nerves, but instead it lifted him. He embraced the atmosphere and used it as fuel. Now people who may not have known his name before certainly know it now. For Joao Fonseca, this loss may sting badly, but it could also become one of the most important lessons of his career. Every young star goes through moments like this. Tennis is brutal because there is nowhere to hide. No teammates to rescue you. No timeouts to reset mentally for long. If frustration enters your mind, everyone sees it. Many champions struggled with emotions early in their careers. Some smashed rackets. Some argued with umpires. Some let matches slip away because anger replaced focus. What made them great later was learning how to use emotion without being controlled by it. That is now Fonseca's challenge. After the match, he reportedly admitted that his attitude on court needs to improve. That honesty matters. Recognizing the problem is the first step toward solving it. And the upside remains massive. Fonseca has the weapons to trouble elite players. He has power off both wings, athletic movement, and the confidence to attack. He also has the charisma fans love in a future star. But if he wants to move from exciting prospect to true contender, emotional discipline must improve. Because the higher you climb in tennis, the more often matches are decided by nerve, not strokes. Can you stay calm after missing an easy shot? Can you reset after losing a close set? Can you stay patient when momentum turns against you? Those questions become more important than raw talent. Madrid exposed both sides of Joao Fonseca in one afternoon. The dangerous player capable of dominating rallies, and the young competitor still learning how to manage pressure. That does not mean panic. It means perspective. He is still young. He is still improving. And setbacks like this are often part of the journey. Some losses damage confidence. Others build character. Which one this becomes depends entirely on how he responds next. If he uses this moment to grow, the rest of the tour should pay attention. Because a talented player who learns emotional control becomes far more dangerous than one who relies only on shot-making. As for Joda, the opportunity in front of him is huge. Breakthrough wins can create belief that lasts for months. Suddenly, future matches feel different when you know you can beat top opponents under pressure. So Madrid delivered two powerful stories at once. A home teenager announced himself to the tennis world. And one of the sport's brightest young names was reminded that the toughest battle is often internal. Joao Fonseca's racket was shattered, but his future is still wide open. What happens next will matter far more than one emotional afternoon in Madrid. Do you think Fonseca's outburst was just normal frustration, or a warning sign for bigger issues ahead? And can Rafael Jodar build on this upset and become the next breakout star? Let me know in the comments and subscribe to Tennis Desk for more tennis drama, rising stars, and the biggest stories from around the tour.